Jeff, just so you know, they edit these, so it's all good, but you can go first here.
Oh, so I thought
we already said the one time we planned on the order.
This is literally the first time we planned this and it went awry.
Oh wait, did you? I wasn't listening. Sorry.
God damn it.
And he never does.
I never do. I'm the fucking my ADHD is impossible.
Man, I nailed that intro.
You can snip it together, dude. You can snip it together. Come on. We both know enough about it.
I know.
This is going to be the bit he puts at the front to sound really funny.
Yeah.
That's my favorite part of the podcast.
Call that a cold open.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, let's
so I go first?
You go first. Now. Sup Nerds, welcome to Powerful, the Power Metal Podcast. We are here once again for a nice episode with guests. I'm your host, Fernando, as usual, and with me is Kyle, the almighty powerful Kyle. And
that's me.
We have awesome guests this time. Please, guests, if you could introduce yourself to our lovely audience.
Hey everyone, this is Captain Voltaire, also known as Rav. Speaking to you guys, singer for Glyph. Excited to be here.
My name is Jeff Black. I am the keyboardist / engineer of the VSS Dragonlord and member of Glyph. Thanks very much for having me.
Thanks so much for coming on the show, guys. So we have you finally. We've heard a lot about this band, about Glyph. I hope our listeners have also heard about it, not just because we talked about them when they first announced their existence back in the Maui Power Fest last time, but also just because you guys are showing up a lot. We're going to talk about a lot about the band, the plans that you have. But the most important thing is that there's an album coming up finally after hearing some demos. We are really, really excited about that. But first of all, we've had Rav on the show technically relatively recently in one of our previous episodes. Mr. Captain Voltaire, sorry. But we haven't had Jeff here before. So, Jeff, this is the most important question that you will ever have to answer to any media ever. What are your top 4 power metal bands?
Oh, it's 4 now.
It's always been 4.
Well, I only answer 3.
I only answer in 3s. Top 4. I'm going to go Blind Guardian right off the top.
Perfect choice.
And Halloween.
Nice.
And
also
for
good.
old time's sake, I'll go Rhapsody of Fire.
Ooh,
love that.
And then for kind of the cool guy pick, Iron Savior.
Ooh,
nice.
That's interesting. That's an interesting.
How very German of you throughout most of that.
They just do it the best. I don't know what to tell you.
Not necessarily wrong, yeah.
Yeah, that's a very cool top 4, especially for the last one. That's something that's one we haven't heard anyone mention yet. I think
it's funny because in the Discord recently, everyone was saying how Glyph is technically EU PM, and I was just like, based on Jeff's influences, that makes pretty great sense.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, if this was for a different podcast, I probably would have. I don't know. You can't like Riot's not they're not really a power metal band, and like Fate's Warning's not really a power metal band. So it's like, nah.
Yeah, I know.
Everything becomes power metal eventually. It is an uncompromising black hole.
Yeah,
genres are very loose.
That's the 8th law of thermodynamics, I think.
Yeah.
Nice.
Now, Rav, it's been not too long since you were on the podcast, but hey, people's taste can change at any moment. Do you have a top 4 for us here?
I only answer in 3s.
Or in the riddles 3,
No, mine's pretty on par with Jeff, honestly. Like, I think if anyone ever says top 3 power metal bands and doesn't say Blind Guardian and Halloween, they're just wrong. So glad to be so united with my bandmates. And yeah, honestly, I would say Rhapsody as well. Rhapsody fucking rules, but obviously only Fabio stuff because everybody loves their favorite creepy uncle, singing on albums about dragons, everything else, But yeah, that's like an easy default.
Quite like Fabio, I think.
That's true. That's kind of my hope. Like, I knew that I would never do the dragon thing as well as Fabio, So my hope is to be the best at doing the anti-dragon thing.
You guys both have long curly hair, so maybe that's a prerequisite.
And hairy arms.
Yeah, they got that Mediterranean flavor.
Hell yeah.
Indeed.
Well, we're going to turn that Mediterranean flavor into a bit of Midwestern flavor. So you guys announced the band relatively unique way, just like on stage for Mad with Power, going to be having your live show there, kicking off the fest, and you even threw out CDs with demos and stuff, very like old school feel. Can you talk a little bit about how just that whole event came together for you guys?
I mean, we kind of that's a fun question. So in reality, Rav, I think you were kind of the guy who spearheaded that because you're pretty tight with Ty, the promoter of Mad with Power, of course. But we all we were putting this band together and we were working on the demos over the summer, the year and the summer leading up to Mad with Power. And Greyhawk was going to be playing there. Rav, of course, was hosting the live stream. And I said, you know what? If I buy a plane ticket and go, we'll all be there. That'll be a great opportunity to make a really audacious move, which is kind of what a band like this needs. We need the audacity.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, I was speaking with Ty, and I sent him as a friend, sent him a demo. I was like, hey, check it out. This is what I'm working on right now. And he was just like, cool. You want to play the festival next year? I was like, sure.
Just like that.
This has kind of been the running theme for Glyph so far is like we as friends are just talking to people that we know or that have some loose contact with us, and they're just kind of throwing opportunities at us. So big shout out to Ty because, he was also very instrumental in making that announcement happen because, obviously we were like, well, how cool would it be if all the members were there and we like came up on stage and announced the band and all this stuff, which is funny because even when the time came to do it, Ty completely forgot because, of course, he's running a festival and there's 1,000 things on his mind. So when he walked off stage, he saw the four of us standing side stage. He's like, shit. He's like, okay, we'll do it after. And so after the lineup announcement and all that stuff, we came out through the CDs, did all that chatting. And and it's also just part of the nature of everything. Like no matter how much you plan things like podcast intros, sometimes things just go awry, and that's just the way it is.
Sometimes things happen. Not on this podcast. Everything's perfect. First try.
Always first try.
But it's also cool because then obviously, no matter what, like everyone's so kind-hearted and good-spirited that it just led to this, like you said, big hype and like Jeff said, audacious move that I think, really helped. I can't think of another band that's announced a new project that way.
When Fernando and I were talking right before this, we were going through like the history of the band members with, Ravenous, Gatekeeper, Greyhawk, all these lovely other dudes. And we were thinking, this is like a supergroup. It's a very experienced group of scene veterans here, if you will, coming together to make this band. So I wanted to see what exactly was it you guys were, I'd say, trying to achieve with this. You guys come from a variety of different backgrounds, different styles with these different bands you've been in. So what really solidified Glyph for you guys?
So when I was first mulling this idea around in my head, the first guy that I brought on board with it was Darren Wall, our bass player, and I had this idea of a band. It wasn't strictly I didn't really have like the idea of a supergroup, but I had this idea of a band that was just the biggest killers in their respective bands. I wanted to have a band that sort of went in and played power metal to this like Assassins level degree, and so when Darren and I set out to do that, we said, okay, like who do we know who's the best member of their respective band, and just tried to assemble the lineup that way. And yeah, we landed on the core 4 members of the band that we have right now, and it's awesome. Everyone's like really focused, and everyone comes from a place of experience. Each member that we have has been the main mover and shaker in their own respective bands, and so everyone kind of comes preloaded with their own, their own hard lessons learned, and their own contacts, and their own unique approach to things, but everyone understands the work that goes into putting a serious project together. Yeah, and as a result, nobody quits right before we're at the finish line. That's a really big
That's
thing.
important. That's very important.
There's no, the bassist slept with the singer's girlfriend or whatever type of nonsense going on.
Barbara's sitting right next to me.
Yeah.
But it's also like everyone comes with their own admin list. It's kind of hilarious, but we all understand what needs to go into the back end. So we're constantly messaging each other. It's like, did you do this with the royalties thing? Did you do this with the publishing? Did these PR guys get this? No, we can't do this because we need at least 6 weeks lead time. Like it's weird talking to 3 other people that understand all the challenges and pitfalls and think ahead on it. And so as a result, no one person has to burden the weight of all the responsibility. And it's fucking beautiful, man. I've told them I've never felt so confident running down like a steep hill, basically Abath style, and just fully confident that if any point I trip up, like one of these 3 other dudes are gonna catch me. So it's what's led to the high speed, because as you guys know, right after Mad with Power, things got ramped up a lot quicker for us.
Yeah, going from just like 3-song call it quick and dirty demo at Mad with Power to we've got the full album ready to go just a few months later. It seems like you guys work pretty efficiently.
Yeah, I mean you have to. I think you have to streamline some stuff. I mean, when we made those demo songs, we were already working on the album. Like we already knew that we were going to do an album. The main difference is that we thought the album was going to come out later. Like we thought there was going to be a little bit more lead time. We thought the album would come out closer to Mad with Power, and then things obviously changed in the process.
Yeah, and it helped a lot.
Is that with the upcoming tour you guys have?
Yeah, yeah, it was
yeah. I mean, it also helped that Jeff is a fucking assassin producer as well. Like he's really tied in with everything he does, and at least for me, I can I do my own production that I learned over like the course of COVID, and obviously produce the Ravenous albums. So I was able to track my own vocals, but like you should see the writing process, given that none of these members have ever been in the same room to like work on music together. And somehow, Jeff and I in like a 2-hour Discord video call can write, an entire song. It's really nice seeing that people with like the technical proficiency and the drive. It just makes it kind of makes it show that like you really have no excuse these days with technology. If you can't get something done, someone's like, oh, but my drummer lives on the south side of the city. It's like, we don't even live in the same country. Yeah. Like we all live in different parts of the world, and we can make this happen. So there's really no excuse these days.
Yeah, I really, really like that. I really like bringing it up to people. I still have trouble sometimes explaining to people that, yeah, you can have a band technically, and not everyone lives even in the same country, and we make it work. Like there's a styles of music that obviously thrive much more when you have everyone playing together and jamming a lot, but there's also a bunch of other styles of music that you can do this asynchronous recordings once the songwriting is tight and everyone understands each other. And that's the beauty of the internet.
I mean, your band spans the entire world.
Eventually.
More or less.
We'll get there. We need to add at least one more continent.
Eons was a great example though, because I mean, that actually was something that when Jeff had offered me to audition, I didn't think of it as anything ridiculous. And I know maybe even like 5 years ago, I would have been like, no way, like we live in different cities. But after, having my experience with Eons and Throne, I was just like, hell yeah. Cause like, I'm still super proud of being on that album, and I listen to it almost daily. I wish I was on more of it. So now it's just like, yeah, of course, this is definitely doable because, look at Eons, look at so many other bands that do this kind of thing. So
yeah, by now this is a tested thing, I want to think. And I hope that more people see this and we get more cool, interesting music that otherwise would not happen just due to geography. Mm-hmm. So for everyone listening, the guys now should be on tour. And it's a very hefty tour for what I see for a band that's just starting with Alestorm. And I'm seeing that it's in the weird cities, right? This is the weird spots tour, the cities that usually other tours miss, which I think is a really, really cool thing to do for any band. Yeah, why just hit always the same big cities if everyone complains of the other places? Let's just hit the other places and capture this new market.
Yeah, to my understanding, just seeing the Alestorm guys talk about it, this is basically the tour where they're playing all the places they didn't play last time.
Which is all the weird cities, like you said.
Yeah, it's like you don't need Seattle if you're going to hit Spokane, for example.
Exactly.
But it is a boon. It is a good thing because, I mean, especially for a band starting off, I'd actually prefer starting off in weird cities because main markets are always going to be main markets. I'd rather do that B city tour especially as our first tour. Like, I mean, obviously we were rather shocked, to say the least, when, you know, we basically just get a DM that's like, hey, I think it was something along the lines of "hurt your cute little single" or something.
Yeah.
How would you like to go on tour? And it's a really cool feeling because no matter what, it's two things. It's one, knowing that the other members are perfectly well equipped, where you bring them an opportunity and no one's really going to bat an eye. But then the other side is, you know, the fact that somebody just heard a snippet of a song. They didn't even hear the full song. They basically just, they were watching the stream. So they saw a snippet of a song and they're like, yeah, this rips. All right, how would you like to go on tour? And that to me is like something that happens in ye olden days of the music industry. Doesn't really seem to happen these days. So I took it as a very fortunate blessing that anybody gave that much of a shit to basically offer us a full North American tour based on a 30-second clip.
You had done a couple shows with Alestorm like way back in the days. I think it was before COVID or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, because this is before Hubris came out. So Ravenous had done like central to west few dates with Alestorm and Ephenimer. And yeah, this was quite a while ago. And when we did all that, like, you know, everything was fun and enjoyable. Everything was packed. But that was kind of the end of that. And then so, you know, after all the media stuff and whatever, we were just like, okay, well, you know, that's basically it. But it was a very, very enjoyable experience. And so I'm extremely looking forward to this upcoming tour, especially as us getting our chops wet, because we get a week of rehearsals, Jeff, before we go and play in front of like 2,000 people on our very first gig.
Yeah, it's about that much. Yeah. The tour offer was like a mega game changer. It just changed not just the plans for the album, but the complete scope of the band in a way. Like, we figured that Mad with Power would be the album release gig. And then the tour offer landed and it's like, oh wow, we have to like accelerate everything. And then when you have something like that, it just completely changes. Like it almost changes. It completely changed my perspective of what we were going to even accomplish at first. You know, It just kind of feels like everything's going just jumped from like, from 0 to 100 almost.
Yeah, it's a huge game changer.
It's like someone coming in and like power leveling you and giving you a bunch of gear, and you're like, oh shit. But then you also have to find a way to keep up with them, right? So now it's like, here comes the 10 times the investment amount we thought we were putting into this, and speeding everything up and getting, 10,000 shirts printed and all these kind of numbers that we didn't really think we'd have to be dealing with for a little bit.
Yeah, it's a little scary, to be honest. It's a little intimidating just to sort of go straight into that world from, where we came from originally, which is more of the underground circuit, right? But it's a little nerve-wracking because the stakes are a lot higher, but it's extremely exciting. Like I'm a career musician and I've always wanted to operate at that level, and it's like, oh wow, finally we get a real kick at the can here. So I'm pretty pleased about it and excited.
Yeah, I think it's really no small feat to actually be able to step up to this. Like suddenly you have this tour, it accelerates all your timetables incredibly, because you're still finishing the tour at Mad with Power, from what I see, and that was supposed to be the original album release. That's a really, really, really big change, and you guys being able to do that and keeping up to it, that's amazing, honestly.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it's really just like a testament to the guys in the band and everything that we do. You should see we have our own band Discord that's literally just like our task list, and every category of tasks is separated by channels. And we're just constantly in there keeping the company basically organized.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot going on. I think we actually just hit our first hiccup, which is actually crazy. Like we haven't stumbled once up until like 2 days ago. Google gave us shit for one of our ads. That was like the first thing that went wrong in this entire camp. Otherwise, like our album sounds amazing. We got the artwork, like everything's going smoothly. And that was kind of the other thing I couldn't believe, where like, if you're running down a steep hill, eventually you're like, I'm going to trip and fall at some point. And then, you're 3-4 months into running down that hill. I'm like, holy shit, we haven't tripped once. Like, this is insane. You guys are awesome.
And for everything going on, like a Google ad being mad at you seems like relatively small thing for all things considered there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm pretty fucking mad about it, but you know.
Well,
yeah.
Fair enough.
Fuck Google, dude.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All my homies hate Google.
All right. As far as the album itself, I think I wanted to get more into the actual music you guys are going to be playing on this big upcoming tour, and for everybody to be looking forward to as the album releases pretty soon here. So when you guys were going into this actual songwriting process, Jeff, I think you said you're the primary songwriter behind all this. Is that correct?
Yes.
That'll work.
Just take the credit. It's okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Rav, he was shouting encouragement from the sidelines, I'm sure.
This is very nice. Sorry. Is there like a follow up to that, or do you want me to talk about that?
No, the follow up being just what were you guys looking to do stylistically with this album? I won't say what were your key influences, but more of just like what's like the vibe you guys really wanted to go for with this album.
Okay, yeah. So everyone in the band has played in what I would say are like power metal or like power metal adjacent bands. Like I would say none of us have played in just a straight up power metal band before. It's always been like traditional metal with some power metal in it, or it's like doom metal with some power metal in it, or it's proggy with some power metal. Like it's and so I was just thinking one day, I was just watching a lot of music videos by up and coming power metal groups and just thinking like, man, like I should just do some straight up power metal, high fun factor, tight songwriting, like as catchy as I can possibly make it, like really, really melody driven. And just try to sort of turn my original songwriting style with Gatekeeper on its head a little bit. I just kind of had this vision of this ultra fun band that just kind of got people moving and was really exciting for younger people, like younger listeners as well. And I just said, man, like I got to do this. I really got to change what I'm after right now, because I just had this sudden rush of inspiration, and that's when I started talking to Darren Wall about it. I had a couple of song ideas that I'd cooked up. I showed him. He didn't laugh, and I went, okay. And then I just wrote I just wrote a shitload of songs after that.
Which is funny because he also wrote like one of my favorite tracks, and it's a doom metal banger. Like if power metal was to be doom metal and it's not on the album, and I'm just like, that's okay. That's okay. We have more albums that we can put out. That's okay. Because it's just become this funny thing that, like it was so much fun that we actually like removed a track from the track listing. Like this is really serious and really heavy and like might not fit the mood and story and aesthetic of this album. Let's like save it for album 2.
Yeah, when you said like, oh, he wrote a doom metal song, I'm like, wait, there wasn't any doom metal on the album. Am I fucking stupid? Like, no, okay.
there are significantly more Glyph songs than what is just on that album, good sir.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay. I guess another thing that I tried to do when I started working on this was I tried to really follow a lot of the advice that I'd read by like legends in music. Like whenever I read interviews by bands like Black Sabbath or Judas Priest or whoever, it always goes like, well, we wrote like 80 song ideas, and we went into the studio and whittled it down to the best 40, and then we whittled that down to the best 20, and then we recorded the best 10, and that was the record. And I was like, okay, like why am I not doing that? Like why am I not just writing ass loads of songs and whittling it down to like the best ideas? And that's kind of what Rav was talking about. Like we started with like probably 30 song ideas. We kind of picked our favorite 15. I think we recorded the coolest 12, and 9 of those are going to be on the record. Was
the British accent part of the songwriting process?
Yes.
It was really good.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah, I'm a Brummie. I don't know if you guys knew that about me.
Oh, really?
No, it's not. No. That's a bold.
I would believe you.
Those things. I mean, it is a part of the songwriting process, because when you hear a lot of those choruses and there's like 37 layers of Jeff and Rav singing along, I mean, I have to do different voices to really thicken up those choruses. So sometimes I'll throw in a British accent, a goblin, whatever characters I can think of to really make those choruses not just sound like 17 layers of Rav singing with himself.
Yeah, that's really the key to make the chorus sound big and diverse. It's just bring up your Chief Wiggum voice and add it in there.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And that's great. I want to mention the thing that stuck with me like it's been a long time. It's been just a bit before, but you mentioned to do an album with a high fun factor. And I think that's really key for the style. And I think you actually got to that with this album, having listened to it, because I am a media person and I can listen to it before you guys, which is cool and makes me cool.
You're very
You
cool.
are cool, Fernando. You're very cool.
Very cool.
I think you're awesome.
But it's true, man. Like, fun factor is important, but there's a line. And I think, the Gatekeeper, like, Do Me kind of influence and the Greyhawk trad influence, even with the Ravenous stuff, like we silly, but some of the songs are pretty fucking serious. And I think that was a big part of walking that line of like, how do we have fun without turning into a fucking meme metal band? And I think that's something we always kind of hold true, because we have to listen to these songs as musicians and be like, if I heard this, would I laugh? And that's kind of a true thing. Like, you want to have fun and enjoy it, but you don't want it to be something that like, this is a fucking joke and it's good for one laugh with zero replayability. Except for Nanowar. Yeah. I'll listen to those songs 10,000 times. I don't give a shit.
I think, it's really important because you can make fun stuff. It doesn't mean that it has to be lazy. And you actually have to put in the work to make a fun thing good. That's very important. And it's very, it means a lot that you actually keep that in mind always. And since, you guys, you have experience, so you can pull this off.
Mm-hmm.
When I was listening to the album, which I've had it on repeat pretty much the whole last week, and like in the background of Dungeons and Dragons and stuff like that, I was thinking this is going to really go off live seemed to be the main thought I had going on, where it's like, okay, we have these fun choruses, we repeat them a lot, lots of like sing along type stuff. So I think, especially kicking off your music career with this big tour, will really, I think, stretch that live factor. You can see, okay, we want the crowd to be super involved. This isn't like the most complicated chorus where they're going to not know the lyrics. Like, they will pick it up. They will be with us pretty much right from the get-go. And I think that, especially in these days, is going to go a long way.
I hope so. Like, it's been really fun seeing live music come back in a really big way over the past year and a half. And, this type of music, I think, endures in the live scene. It endures in like theater type venues and festival type situations. And I've always, ever since I went to Wacken as a teenager, that's always been a thing I've wanted to be a part of, but for some reason just haven't quite landed on it.
Wacken as a teenager seems like that would really stick with you or be like a formative thing in your life.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
It's funny, but it even comes down to like lyric writing, because you got to think about it, where Jeff and I would kind of laugh, would be like, is this something that drunk Germans can sing? Like, if you are hammered at Wacken, are you going to be able to sing this chorus?
Yeah,
we ask ourselves a lot of these questions that are like almost like guiding philosophies for us with what this project is. And that's why even with the 90 plus song ideas that Jeff comes up with, like, not one of them really ventures that far out of the norm. And it kind of creates like a sense of identity. And personally, I think that's something amazing in any band, because I've been part of a lot of projects, and you see how sometimes bands lack a sense of identity, and it's either apparent in their writing or their outfits or whatever it is. And everything's been really cohesive here, where like there's no question about whether something works or not. Because I've submitted some new songs and they're like, yeah, this is very Ravenous, this isn't very Glyph. I'm like, yeah, that's a good point.
We'll use your ideas. Don't worry, buddy.
No, it's cool.
Are you getting too proggy for them there, Rav?
You know what's funny is that in Ravenous, I'm the guy that's like too many bangers. Everything is too straightforward, not big brain enough, and have found myself in this world now where I'm like, oh shit, I need to learn how to write Glyph songs. But when it came to like writing lyrics and working with Jeff, it's been fucking awesome, because I've never had such a smooth lyrical writing process where, two guys not even in the same room can just flow off of each other. There's no weird adjustments or like having to prove anything. You just put in the words, they kind of flow out of you. And that's how most of these songs kind of came together, at least the ones that I had a hand in. And it's something that makes me excited for the future, because then all of a sudden we took a look at the songs we did choose and we were like, holy shit, there's like a coherent story arc in this. Let's pull on that thread and see how that goes.
Absolutely. Honestly, a lot of the identity and whatnot that Rav is like referring to is just me trying to undo some habits that I built up from playing in like underground, like traditional metal bands and stuff like that. Like in Gatekeeper, when I was writing riffs, I would get like so far up my own ass worrying about like reusing the same chord progressions or using like the same little melodic fills or whatever, what have you, that kind of like the same tempos or whatever. And I tried to like undo a lot of that thinking when I went into this and just saying like, no, it doesn't matter if the same chord progression gets used because there's so many other cool things happening that the average listener isn't even going to care about that. They're not going to notice that. The type of thinking that gets in the way of just getting your song ideas out of you.
Mm-hmm. Not being Yari Menpa.
That's so important.
or just worrying about the stuff that's not important, Like people, like at the end of the day, people just want to know, like, is this cool? Does this make me want to move my body? Does it make me want to fist pump or like bang my head? Does it make me want to air guitar? Does it make me want to like sing along? That's really what matters at the end of the day. It's just like how it makes you feel. Not are you gonna impress like the guitarist of this other band that played Keep It True?
Yeah, 100%, 100% agree. A lot of people miss the forest for the trees. I don't know how that phrase goes, but they are like, oh no, I cannot use this chord progression twice in an album. Like, of course you can. Just make 2 good songs, and if that's the tool that allows you to make 2 good songs, that's all that matters.
Yeah, works for Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
It's good enough for Maiden, good enough for me.
I'm making a shirt that says that for you.
Thanks, dude. Hell yeah.
So you guys had talked about making this, like pulling on different story threads and making a basically lore to Glyph. Is that something you guys are really consciously crafting when you're making these songs, or is that like the story something you want to have just kind of in the background so you can focus more on just being catchy songs, or where does the lore really kind of fit into your guys' process?
So it's interesting because when I was working on the tunes and developing a lot of the ideas, I didn't have lore per se, but I did have kind of like an overarching imagery in my head. Like I had kind of like a vibe in my mind, and that was this old old Sword and Planet type literature where like sci-fi meets fantasy kind of a thing. I had a lot of that kind of stuff, like Jack Vance and Gene Wolfe novels, kind of rattling through my skull while I was writing the songs. And those, so the guy who's behind the lore is really Rav. He's the guy who's kind of put like a coherent storyline on top of it. But it's interesting now because as we're kind of workshopping new song ideas and as I'm brainstorming new stuff, now we have this lore that exists. So trying to write without being too self-aware of that is an interesting challenge.
It's funny because I was actually a little afraid to bring it up at first. Like I was like, shit, if I show the other guys that there's lore here, maybe we're going to end up like trying to shoehorn too many things in and all this stuff. But like literally just took a look at the lyrics. I had the whole lyric sheet and I was reading through it almost like just reading prose. And I was like, fuck, like there's a lot of consistent imagery. There's a lot of, just kind of motifs and morals to the story. Like each song kind of stands as its own cautionary tale or fun, little story that you would see in something. And as it kind of rearranged and ordered it, I came to the other guys. I was like, what do you guys think of this for a track listing? I've had this story idea, Barbara actually helped me flesh a lot of it out and came to the guys with this. And they all were just kind of like, yeah, like, fuck it. Why not? And it's led to everything from, like our characters, as Captain Voltaire and Chief Engineer Jeff and all this kind of stuff, which are very reflective of like who we are as people. But then it's led to like the lore of like how Captain Voltaire loves Oreos. And now anywhere I fucking go, people just buy me Oreos everywhere I go. It's like
the intergalactic Oreos.
They have like space dunk Oreos. I need to get them. They're like a weird purple, blue cosmic swirl, and I need to get my hands on them.
Incredible.
But it's the kind of thing that's really fucking cool because, we're even doing like in my Patreon, we started doing lore chats, and it's like Glyph book club. Let's talk about lore. Let's talk about, here are the authors. What do they think of these things? What can be established in this world? And, how could we kind of do it in? But at the same time, I know Jeff and I were more concerned about the riff in the sense of we're not going to force something to be story canon. We want to write good songs first and foremost.
The lyrics aren't full of proper nouns. It's not, I am the something of something and I'm getting the sword of whatever and I'm going to go to this place that's named after whatever. None of that is really in the lyrics except for the drinking song, I guess, at the end has a drink. But it still is pretty accessible without being like, oh man, I didn't do my homework. I don't know what the hell this band is really doing.
Yeah, man. I don't ever want to sing the words Zargothrax or fucking Darkunor or
it's really hard to say too.
Yeah, or like on their way to Ainur, or I don't know, fucking whatever else. Though I do like the narration in Mystic Prophecy of the Demon Knight. That is one of my favorite lore things in a song. But in general, it's just like, no, man, you want drunk Germans to be able to sing along. It's the principle of the story. If you happen to get into it and see that there's a tale behind it, then it's even cooler. But it's about the song.
Yeah, exactly. I've like I was sort of mentioning a little earlier, like now that we have this lore kind of worked into it, I just try not to think about it when I'm writing the music. I just say, okay, I just want to write like, okay, today I'm going to work on a kind of a faster idea and just try to make sure that it conjures up similar types of imagery to where we were heading with the last few songs, or, just I try to think more about the vibe and like what kind of, what thing might be happening in like the film that's playing in my head as the song is playing or what have you. Or think about what the music video looks like. And then we can like look at how it fits into like the greater picture later on if we think it's a sick song.
Yeah, exactly. And for even with writing lyrics and things like that, it's mostly about how it translates to a live setting. It's not about what sounds amazing. Because if I do something crazy with like 37 overlaying vocals and then suddenly live, you can't sing any of it yourself. It's like, what was the fucking point in writing this?
Mm-hmm. I think that's very cool that you guys put yourself in that state of like, we are a live band. We need to be able to do the thing and it has to work. And I think all you've written, as Kyle mentioned before, will really pop off live. It's like banger city for a live show.
Awesome. Fingers crossed. I hope it, I'm looking forward to taking them for like a real road test.
Mm.
Yeah, I think you can definitely learn a lot from that.
That's Jet's code is we're looking forward to our first show.
Yeah, dude, Cincinnati, Ohio, you're going to blow the fucking house down.
I never thought that Cincinnati, Ohio would be like a significant place for me in my life. And here I am being like,
never gonna forget
the first Glyph show, we have to. That's it. It's like Cincinnati we'll have to write a song about it. Space Cincinnati.
Space Cincinnati. Space Cincinnati.
Spaceport Cincinnati. Oh, yeah.
All right, we're building lore in the podcast.
Fuck yeah.
It's funny because people actually do that now, because now they just message story ideas, and I had to explain to people like, hey, that's not how this works. I'm not going to take as sick of an idea this is. We're not going to like take this and make it into a song. It kind of goes the opposite way. But then people were like, okay, well then could I do like a D&D campaign based on this world? I'm like, hell yeah. You fucking invite me to that. Like, I absolutely, you can do that. And this is where the world is getting interesting, because the fans are starting to already build off their own like fan fiction. I think someone was talking about one where like one of us bangs a dragon or something. I'm like, yeah, man, just go ahead, run with it. Any good lore has a rule 34. So
that's how you know the fans really love it.
Exactly.
Oh, wow. They're just shipping us with dragons, dude.
That was one of the aspects of like the podcast. We're saying like, we don't really do like parasocial relationships. I don't think people are saying like, what's your favorite powerful ship? Like, what's the ship name of Kyle and Fernando? Like, this is where my mind wanders.
Why would you say that out loud? Now we'll
because
have
it's
a
funny,
problem.
Fernando.
Now people will start thinking about it.
But it's funnier.
I know, but
Yeah. I'm thinking about it
I
right
need
now.
to know, have you guys named your sword?
no.
What, like just like the shitty emerald sword in the logo?
Hey, it's a powerful, shitty emerald sword. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
I thought you. Oh, never mind.
Yeah, I thought a different thing.
Yeah.
No, it's
I
come on.
you were
What are you guys thinking of?
thought you were talking about a penis.
Yeah. it.
So speaking of penises, let's talk about Honor, Power, and Glory.
Yeah.
Which all of which are names for penis.
Conveniently, the name of my penis and my 2 balls.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which one's which? Oh, you won't
It's all in
find out
order,
quite
yeah.
yet.
Yeah.
All right, so I did want to kind of start to deep dive into individual songs out of the album. If you guys really want to get into like the nitty gritty, the nerdy, just the real good shit there for the fans.
Hell yeah.
So starting off would be the title track of Honor, Power, Glory, which pretty much goes straight into like one of those like big sing-along choruses. Is this kind of just like your guys' I don't know, thesis statement for the album here?
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
it's the
Hell
fucking
yeah,
title.
dude.
All right, yeah.
Sure.
I mean, it's the title of the
Yeah.
album. We're not gonna open with the album title like on our very first ever release kind of thing. It's just like, I don't know. That's one of those moments where prog people get it wrong, where it's like the album's like the ancient prophecy of the eclectic Star-Lord as he traverses the something Bal Sagoth like. It's like, no, man, it's pretty straightforward. The album's called Honor, Power, Glory. You want people shouting Honor, Power, Glory in your face as soon as you put the disc in.
Yeah, you know musicians who use subtlety and they're all cowards.
Yeah.
Nuance is dead.
Yeah, dude. I'm sick of it. Yeah, it just felt like a monolithic kind of title, like, and it's one of those like, it's just so crazy it might work kind of moments, and yeah, I just feel it sets a tone, I think.
It's no different than the band name. I mean, everyone was just like, whoa, ballsy of you to get a 1-syllable band name. And Jeff even said, he's like, well, fuck it, man. If it worked for Ghost, it could work for us. Like being big and audacious and monolithic and all these things, like that's what we're trying to strive for. We're not trying to lurk meekly in the shadows. We're trying to make a big fucking impression and hit the ground running and never stop.
Nice. I like that.
Yeah, it needs to be like nervousness needs to be the furthest thing from this.
Yeah, nervousness is not a word I would use to describe any part of this album.
Not a single phrase.
No.
Not a single person either, actually, which I love. But, speaking of Honor, Power, Glory, it's, this is where the lore stuff started coming in because, again, trying to set things up in like a coherent story arc. Obviously, Jeff wrote this. This was actually the song that I auditioned to get into the band. And
Yeah, this was actually one of the first ones that I wrote that I showed Darren Wall when I was like first pitching the band idea to him.
Yeah, so it's more than just like it's the opening track. Like this is kind of the inception of Glyph. Like why would you not have that as your lead up?
Can't think of a reason.
Nice.
But as far as lore and deep diving, I mean, this is story wise. We've established this in our Patreon lore chat. But this is like the battle that happened a long time ago, where essentially the dragons first showed up, and it's like that opening movie scene where you see the battle that happened thousands of years ago or whatever it is. And it just kind of sets a precedent where you can see a lot of the story and get an idea of what's to be expected. And that's what any good opening track or intro should establish, whether it's a book or a song or a movie. You should get an idea for what's in store. And I think there's no better song that does that than Honor, Power, Glory.
It's like your intro to Lord of the Rings with Galadriel talking about the Battle of Sauron, I guess.
Yeah, but
Pretty
she's
much,
screaming and killing dragons while doing it. Nice.
All right, that brings us into March of the Northern Clan, which I think kicks into a bit of a higher gear for this style. And I really, a note I have about this song and several other songs in the album, you guys have honest to God keyboard solos on this.
Hell yeah, we
I
do.
feel like you don't get that so much these days. It's always like, oh, I'm going to have the symphonic wankery or whatever. We'll do the obligatory guitar solo, but just like a pure keyboard solo. It's like, oh, thank God. When I was going through the album.
They become a lost art.
Right?
Yeah, bring out the John Lord and Jeff Black.
Yeah.
He can be the new. We'll get rich enough and famous enough that we can have like a full giant organ on stage, and he can just go ham with like a 20-minute organ solo.
Yeah, it'd be like Emerson, Lake and Palmer, where he's like stabbing knives into the keys to hold them down, and he's like lighting things on fire and just like climbing on top of it and rocking back and forth and just completely zonking out over it.
And I get to go backstage and eat snacks for 20 minutes. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, March of the Northern Clan. Funny enough, like there was like 17 different titles for this one before we finally settled on one.
Yeah.
What were some of the rejected ones?
The first working title. This is actually another early song that I worked on with Darren, and the original working title is Dominion of Steel.
Okay.
Yeah, and then it
which I
became
still think
Kingdom
is
of
kind of
Steel.
Kingdom of Steel. Dominion of Steel kind of sucks to say it, but I still kind of love it. It's
that's
so
a very
stupid.
metal name. I do kind of like that.
Yeah, it's really stupid.
What was another one? Iron and Ice.
Iron and Ice. Yeah, Darren didn't like that one.
No, Darren didn't like that one. And then what else was there? Like March of the Kingdom of the Dominion of Steel and Ice. We started getting ridiculous with it after a while.
That's getting a little too Balsagoth, I think.
Yeah, it's getting up there. Yeah, Darren didn't like Iron and Ice. He's like, Iron and Ice sounds fucking stupid. We were like, all right, fair enough.
It's funny because Darren very rarely says anything negative about our ideas. So when he did, we took it very much to heart.
This was honestly like the biggest argument we've ever been in this entire band.
This and which pants to wear live. Those are the two only arguments we've ever had as a band.
Oh my God, stop.
Do you wear the black ones or the extra black ones?
Kind of, yeah.
Kind of. But
It's not that far off.
March of the Northern Clan, kind of establishes a bit where we can start seeing some settings, because then you see that there is this, Northern Clan, this, barbarians or warriors, whatever you want to call them. This is kind of like Darren's lineage. This is where we start establishing a bit of his backstory. And it's essentially, the way Jeff wrote it is there's warriors, they live in a frozen place, the sun's dying out, and they need to march south into like hostile territories in order to stay alive. And I took it as really poignant because it's a cool story, but it wasn't all too different from the fact that like Jeff and I, as these frozen warriors from the north, like we have to go to the US if we want to fucking tour and be successful. Like there's just no two ways about it. And this is where some of those ideas started playing out in my head, where when we're writing these lyrics, like they're not just fun stories. They're also, relevant to our lives, and they actually tell a tale. And in this one, it's taking on, danger, responsibility, whatever it is, in order to succeed, to feed your family, to keep your clan alive. So I think that's where we settled on it. And that's kind of where it works as like the backstory to the Northern barbarians, aka Canadians.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that angle of it, of like, oh yeah, you guys actually are the Northern barbarians yourselves.
Yeah, we are uncivilized scum as well. There's also that.
Nice.
But it's the kind of thing too with like, I don't know, man, when you write songs, if it's just a cool story, it's going to come out in your performance. But if it's something that actually means something to you, it's going to come out a lot differently. And I think with this next track is where it's most apparent, where I really started taking on the gripes of my character.
That being Storm of Crimson Fire.
Yeah, that's the one where I sent the final tracks to Jeff, and all he said was, "Holy fuck, dude, you sound pissed."
It's
I was
great.
like,
It's
yeah,
beautiful.
I'm mad. My character is mad because dragons are fucking things up now, and there's this big cataclysmic event. They're enslaving people. They're destroying everything and all that. And of course my character is mad, but now I'm mad too as Rav, because it just kind of started venting up all that frustration. Whatever you want that dragon to be, your boss, your uncooperative bandmates, your whoever, but you start getting that whole thing of like, people are fucking shit up and you need to do something about it. You need to stand up and fight. And I think a little too much of my personal feelings started carrying through, where like, yeah, I think I might actually hate dragons now because they represent like everything that's ever stood in our way to try to prevent this dream from happening.
Damn.
Yeah, dude, dragons kind of suck ass, honestly.
Yeah, fuck dragons.
Yeah, dude. I don't, it's like, grow up.
At the time of recording, you guys just put out the animated music video for Storm of Crimson Fire, which has like all the cool 8-bit stuff in it.
Yeah, that was a fun that was a fun way to, because we all live so far away from each other. We're like, okay, how can we do music videos? We can just animate caricatures of ourselves and put them in these unbelievable environments that we could not green screen ourselves.
Yeah, and just the fact that it's like budget. We're not backed by a label. We're doing this completely independently and trying to run with the big dogs. So some things have to you know, unfortunately, the money is not infinite as we are playing power metal. Let's remind ourselves. So,
Yeah.
You mean
It's the kind of thing-
you're not getting rich off of the power metal?
hell no.
Yeah.
God, I'm lucky if I have the money to eat shredded cheese over a sink. But it's the kind of thing too where like getting to see yourself in video game form and having a video that tells a story, you know, again, it's just something. I mean, at least for me, it was a personal milestone because I've never seen myself in video game form, and I'm very, very happy to see it. I hope somebody makes the game.
I do love the 8-bit caricatures that they made for you guys.
Yeah, those are super fun, and like video game, like SNES music, like the old Mega Man and Mega Man X games, like those are some of my first musical obsessions. And I think I like to think that it probably comes through in the music to a certain degree. So to me, it makes a lot. It just makes sense, you know.
Yeah, that old school video game music, I think, being very like melody focused, like you find in a lot of like modern power metal, going for like those catchy things where you're gonna do it over and over again. I think it really does come through a lot.
Yeah, and think about who we're friends with too, because like look at bands like Power Glove. Like we see our friends taking, you know, old video game songs and turning them into sick metal bangers. It's like there's a lot in those old NES and SNES melodies and chip tunes and things like that like they're banger songs. So why not take some of that? And some people had said that like some of our artwork was like reminiscent of old Super Nintendo album covers. I'm like, that was literally in the line that I sent the artist. I'm like, make it look like a Super Nintendo like video, or I said Super Nintendo album covers.
Yeah,
Super Nintendo video game covers.
The album art's really sick, and I feel like the dragons on it finally hit me. They kind of look like Ridley from like the Super Metroid art. That like almost like skeletal, like gaunt, like dragon look to it.
Yeah.
Biomechanical, man.
Yeah. The video itself, just to give credit, was done by an Evelio Puente. I'm probably saying that wrong.
Let Fernando say it. He'll say it right.
Fernando.
Yeah, Evelio Puente.
Thank
Nice.
you. That's what I said.
I think Venezuela is where he's from, if I'm not mistaken.
Cool.
Yeah, and
cool.
it was one of those things where it's just like we have to face the reality of being an independent band that's just starting off with everything. We're like, okay, who can animate a video for like $1,000? And we just went for it. And whatever the result was, we're just going to run with it. And that's kind of the reality of what's allowing us to kind of give up a bit of a sense of control and just be like, hey, we are doing something fucking awesome. These songs rule. Yeah, that's not exactly what my tattoos look like in 8-bit. Like, who gives a shit? Just roll with the story, have a good time, and try to have some fun with it. And the more we focus on just having fun and celebrating our victories, the more we're noticing we're not getting hung up on like really stupid, minute details.
You didn't go for the full Judas Priest 8-bit, which would be kind of cool.
Not enough pixels,
but,
I think.
Yeah, not enough pixels.
Yeah, not enough
for that.
pixels. Can't handle all that ass.
I want to say that this song is probably my favorite of the whole album before we go to the next one.
Yeah,
I like
it's
the
top 3 for me.
fast
So
songs.
yeah, you're gonna be shocked that the guys on the Power Metal podcast like the fast songs the best.
That is weird.
And completely unexpected.
Yeah.
But then we have the one that is just basically just an earworm extended into a song that has been drilled into my brain for the past, I don't know how long now. It feels like I've been listening to the song for years now, which is really a big, you did really well. Because
Give it to me.
when the world was young, it's just such a powerful hook that I cannot get it off my head. It's killing me.
Oh, thanks, man. That's great.
Thanks, man.
Thank you. That means a lot. I have a feeling you were going to say something similar to what I'm about to say, but it's funny because I wrote that song in like 15 or 20 minutes, and I'm like, it's something, like whatever. And then I sent it to the guys in like a group of other songs, and I'm like, I don't know about that one. And everyone was like, what the fuck are you talking about? What do you mean you don't know about that one? Are you stupid? We have to do that one. And I was like, oh, okay. And they were right.
Yeah, you're always your own worst critic. You don't know what's good, you don't know what's bad. So it's good to have those guys to keep you grounded.
But this was also the one that I had the most trouble with writing lyrics because I was just like, what the fuck is like, what does this have to do with anything? What does this mean? Like I don't know when it kind of clicked. And again, it wasn't on a story sense. Like the story came after all the songs were written. So at this point when we're writing the song, I'm just like, what does that mean? Like when the world is young? Because Jeff does a really good job of naming the scratch tracks, like not calling them something stupid like Booger AIDS 73. Like he names them something. It's like, this is kind of the vibe. I'm thinking like, you know, when the world was young. I'm like, okay, well, what does that mean? And again, just trying to sculpt this thing story wise, you know, it's the one of the last people to fight against the dragons to, you know, kind of sit us down and talk to us about all this stuff and what's been happening and what the world used to look like and how things used to be. And then it started turning again into a very emotional performance, because then it's like, yeah, it's about being young, whether it's being a young power metal fan and you're just stoked that like Blind Guardian just put out a new album, or, you know, you're excited about any little thing that brings you joy. It's just, there was a certain simplicity to it. And so that's why it's just like heavy, straightforward pounding riffs. It is not a complicated song. And to me, it's like one of the ones that allows me to give the most power. I think it's also the highest note I hit on the album. So yeah, I'm a massive fan of that one, because again, after writing the lyrics, it was kind of like, oh yeah, this is a banger. Because obviously until a song has lyrics, you have no idea whether it's going to be great or if you're singing about like the doo-doo fart sword of the Goblin King or something.
Yeah, this one struck me as the most like, I think, Sabaton-y of the songs.
100%.
It has like that like sort of like marching da da don to it.
I do punch my knee a lot when practicing this, so yeah.
You got to do it.
You gotta do it.
Yeah.
And I think more and more bands are doing this, having at least one song that is in this style, but still feeding part of their cohesive identity, like you guys talked about before, because it matches with everything else. But it's also a bit distinct with this super strong repetitive hook that just will not leave you and will not set you free, and you just have to keep listening.
And I would much rather have something like this over like a shitty ballad that everybody skips. For like the quote unquote slow song on the album.
We'll do one next album for you.
Oh fuck! I played myself.
You just gotta.
You guys were talking shit about narration, so we put narration in a song. We listened.
Yeah.
We're gonna put the worst power metal tropes into one song.
The trick, the only thing that will let you pass doing all those things is that you actually have to do them right, not like everyone else that just laces over it. That's the main problem. A lot of people just go, oh, I have to do a ballad. I've never thought about writing a ballad. I'll just make this song slower and put some strings on it, and that's it. Now that's why everyone complains. Everyone complains.
Phil Collins, Tom Phil. It's a ballad.
There's nothing worse than a shitty ballad.
There are a couple worse things, but it's pretty down there.
Yeah, I guess Chlamydia kind of sucks.
So if you do the ballad, just get Hansi to sing on it, and then it'll be fine.
That's true.
It solves all the problems.
It solves a lot of problems. What do we have next? We have
the Elden Ring. I mean, fire.
the Eldenfire.
I tripped up on that a couple times because I was still playing Elden Ring when we were working on this.
I thought I was just being cute, but okay.
No, like Jeff had the idea for Eldenfire and what it was and all this stuff, but I was playing Elden Ring at the time, and I would always mix up the two for like a solid month when this came into the picture.
I haven't played Elden Ring, but I hear it's sick.
Yeah, I'm not
It's the fucking sickest.
I'm not the gamer type. I have not even attempted to try to play any of these games everyone is into. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not a gamer either.
You got me to handle that for you, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
When there's video game stuff in the power metal.
But
which is a lot, I guess.
Tell us about this song. What do we have here?
What do we have here?
Well, it's about searching for something.
Yeah. So I can only speak from the lyrical side, because again, like when most of these songs get to the phase, like Jeff has either written all the music, or he's written all the music and lyrics, or he's written all the music and like one line in the chorus, but it kind of defines the song. So with Eldenfire, he kind of had like a little bit of a snippet that was like, this is kind of what Eldenfire is. This is what I'm thinking. It's like this energy source. It's like this, you know, semi magic kind of thing. It works as fuel, works as electricity, and all this kind of stuff. So again, trying to write something within that had that feeling. I'm like, what would be a good story? And this is actually something Barbara helped inspire. It was like that sense of longing. You know, you picture the young dock worker at the on the port or whatever, just like dreaming of being up in the stars and getting away from this dreary, dreadful life. And to me personally, like putting those lyrics together, this is going to sound so cheesy, but it's a power metal podcast, so it totally
this is the
is.
space to be
That's
cheesy.
acceptable.
Yeah.
Jeff basically was the one that discovered Eldenfire, not just in his character, but like it's what he brought to this project by like bringing us together. Like he brought that magical thing that none of us really knew existed or really quite understood like how it worked. Like we knew it existed, but we didn't quite know how it worked. And suddenly when he unlocks the secret of the Eldenfire, all of a sudden this band just fucking takes off into space. And so it really is a song that's very near and dear to me, and like kind of is actually just like a reminder of the love of like my bandmates and my wife and all these people, you know, coming up with these lyrics. It was like, fuck man, like you found the thing that made us different. You found the thing that like helped project us into space. We would have been stuck being fucking dock workers if it wasn't for you. So big shout out to you, Jeff. That's why I loved writing the lyrics to that song, and it's still one of my favorites.
It's the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me. Thanks, buddy.
Oh, that's so.
Yeah, you were right. That
cheesy.
was too cheesy.
Yeah. What is this? A power ballad? Get the fuck out of here.
That's great.
Go back to
that's
writing
awesome.
songs about White Claw. You fucking poser.
Was that shots fired? Have shots been fired?
Across
At myself,
the bow.
yes.
Oh man.
I shot myself in the foot.
As I've listened to Eldenfire, this one also I think is one of the better ones on the album. I feel like the chorus has like a gazillion Ravs in it.
Every chorus has a gazillion
Yeah.
Ravs.
Yeah,
There's quite a few. Yeah, there's a large number.
Are there too many Ravs?
No such thing. Next question.
Okay. All right. Good point. Good point.
Yeah, we got fat stacks, fat Rav stacks.
Fat Ravs.
Nice.
Fat
You
Rav
should see how
stacks,
I
dude.
labeled the tracks to stay organized. I'm like Fat Rav, Opera Rav, Gremlin Rav, High Rav, Low Rav. Like, yeah, it's fun. I'm sure Jeff enjoyed sorting all my files.
It's fun. They make sense though. It sounds silly, but when you get them all together, it's like, oh, I know exactly what this is going to sound like, and it works pretty well. And then Rev sends like a lot of layers, and then I'll try to do the same amount of him, just kind of mixed way in the back, and I try to do just kind of a similar thing, just laying down like the harmonies in the chorus, so that it just sounds like a big men's choir or what have you.
Big manly choir.
Big manly choir, like old Tier albums. Those guys have like the
Yeah.
sickest
Oh, yeah.
fat stacks, dude. You can't beat like Eric the Red's vocal harmony layering. It's out of this world.
That always really
Alright.
helps. Having more voices makes it always fatter and larger.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, just adds a lot of like just depth. Makes it just sound like you're just in an entirely different space. It's really cool.
Yeah,
And it's
For-
fun.
of course.
For the live performances of all these, are you gonna mic up all the guitarists and get them doing the backing stuff too, or is it gonna be straight?
Oh, they better do it.
Oh yeah.
If they know it's
Yeah,
good for
they know
them,
what's good for
they'll
them.
they'll fucking put them. They'll get up to that microphone. They'll kiss that metal grill. They'll tongue it a little bit. They get a stern talking to after the gig.
Yeah,
Perfect.
That's a big one for us, because that's gonna be the other thing too, man. Like these choruses are not technically proficient. We're not Boston. We're not doing 7-way harmonies or something. Like you just fucking sing your heart out. That's all you got to do. You just got to sing along. Don't care how drunk you are. Don't care how good of a singer you are. You just have to sing along. And I think we've done a good job of establishing that with these choruses.
Yeah, it's like when you I don't know what Sabaton sounds like now live, but when you would go see them 10 years ago, it was clearly like 6 burly Swedes going, and it's just like, oh yeah, those are actually guys singing, and it sounds kind of awesome.
Yeah.
If
I'm
you
not
get
sure if they're
enough
doing the canned thing
of them
now.
doing it together, it can kind of all like just become this cohesive mass of power, right? I guess that's what everyone's going for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and funny enough, that comes out a lot in the mixing. Like Damien did a really good job of that, because he is
the best.
Dragon Force's producer. And so he understands the importance of, hearing the fucking vocals and hearing the bass.
He's the fucking man.
Yeah, he's the fucking man. And we didn't even have to do that much back and forth. It was the first time I was like, oh, I received a mix from a producer that I was happy with. Like, who'da thunk it?
He's really good. He's actually really good. I was surprised when I saw that the name. It was like, oh yeah, it's the guy that's been doing Dragon Force lately, and he really does a really great job.
Yeah.
It's interesting to see someone in this space that's been working with a big band, and it's not like over 50 years old.
Right.
Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, he's like, I think I'm not sure how old he is, but I think he's like in his mid 30s. He's like probably around my age.
Yeah.
He's a young buck who's just, he's kind of been in it for a little while. He's been working with Fear Factory for a number of years and just doing his thing down in LA. We got in contact with him actually through a guy who contributed some guitar solos to the record. His name's Jeff Potts. He used to play in Warbringer for a little while. He was in Mantic Ritual as well, like very early, like new wave of thrash metal band.
Fucking Meltdown. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, he's pals with Damien, and he put us in touch with him, and it clicked right away. It was like it was a great fit. Love that guy.
The guy liked the song so much he asked if he could drum in our band. That's how much I fucking love him.
Damn.
Yeah, he's great.
Nice. That's great. That's great when you have that kind of relationship, and it's not just, oh, I send you the tracks, oh, they're back, and you don't even like acknowledge each other existing. But when you have an actual relationship to build with the person that's mixing your stuff, that really helps both ways, and it gets you a better product all the time.
Yeah, he's very enthusiastic and very like detail oriented, and just really wants the best for the project. You really get the impression that he's like, he just wants it to succeed,
And he's nice as fuck. Like, Jesus Christ, I didn't realize how hard it was for producers to be nice until I started meeting them, and then I met Damien. I'm like, oh shit, he's nice as fuck.
Sweetie. He's a little sweetie pie.
That's great.
Sweet. He's a real sweet treat.
That's great. That's great.
As I guess as a side note, you mentioned he's like, oh, I'll play drums for you guys. The drums on the album were done by a one Cody Anstey, but you guys don't have like a proper quote unquote full-time official drummer in the band, right?
No, drummers are disgusting. So
that's fair. Yeah.
Hey.
Are you a drummer?
He's in everything.
I'm on everything.
Ew.
I used to play drums. I haven't played since the pandemic because I don't have a drum set at my place.
Oh, it's better for you anyway. It's fine.
Yeah. We always laugh with the classic trope of like everyone knows shits on bass players. I'm like, let's also break another norm and be the band that just shits on drummers.
Yeah.
It's like, because our bass player fucking rules. We love our bass player.
Nice.
Yeah, he's the man.
Nice.
He's a literal hero.
Nice.
But Rav, you know Cody. Rav's the Cody connection.
Yeah. So touring with Cody because it was Osiren, Empress, and Seven Kingdoms that were touring together. That I think that's actually when we did the last interview, and being there with Barbara and her band and all that stuff. So when we were talking about it, it's kind of again right after Mad with Power, and this idea is coming through, and so every night kind of chatting with Cody, and he just asked because he's inquisitive, inquisitive little guy. And he was just like, so who's drumming for this thing? I know you guys, and none of you can play the drums worth shit. We were like, we don't know. Actually, we have no idea. We haven't thought that far ahead, apparently. And he just offered. He was just like, well, I have my recording studio. I live 30 minutes away from you. So why don't you send me some tracks? I'll lay down some properly recorded drum tracks. And, we can take it from there. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. And so we float the idea to the Glyph guys, and they're like, yeah, well, I mean, we need some sort of drummer. And yeah, he absolutely banged it out of the park. Like, I think he got it done in like 2 or 3 days, tracked drums for the entire album. We do our edits, and he sends them to Damien. And Damien, being a drummer, had very little negative to say. So that was also a very good sign. And yeah, it all just kind of worked out really well. But as far as a live touring drummer, by the time this recording comes out, we'll obviously have announced who is going to be drumming for us, because we're going to be on tour, and hopefully we have more than a blow up doll behind the kit.
Yeah, I was going to ask right up next, like, wait, so who's going to be, kidnapped and put behind the drum kit for this tour here?
We're still debating on whether it's going to be a true-blooded Valerian somebody from our planet, or if it's just going to be some human we picked up on the side of the street and be like, all right, you're a drummer now.
Yeah, we're not. We will abduct.
You get 2 water bottles.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're aliens. We're not above abducting.
No.
Yeah. So listeners, let us know in the YouTube comments who is the drummer, because when you hear this, these guys should be on tour or should have at least announced who this person is. There it is. I am driving engagement like a good
Yay.
content
Yes.
person.
Hell yeah.
Remember
Like
to
and subscribe.
intentionally make mistakes so you can drive engagement by people being pedantic nerds and correcting you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do
Always.
that on purpose quite often.
Of
Actually,
course.
it always works.
It's not like we're ever wrong. We actually do it on purpose.
No.
It's always bait. Always a
We're
trap.
professional journalists, dude. We are 100% right about everything.
That reminds me that we were supposed to be talking about the album. So
Oh yeah.
let's go back to the track list. The next one was Defy
Okay.
the Night, if I am following correctly.
Yes.
And I want to say one thing before you tell us about this track, which is, I really, really want this to be an Eurobeat song.
A what
Oh
song?
yeah, that's easy.
An Eurobeat. It's
Eurobeat.
You know the initially the drifting memes, that electronic music from Italy that was popular in Japan. If you don't know about this, then after the show you should really look into it.
I should, yeah, because for what it's worth, you and I talk often, and I always completely understand your accent. I just have no clue what Eurobeat is.
Perfect.
Oh, you would love it.
You love it. I hope, because it's like power metal's sister genre in electronic
about
land.
Greek food.
Yeah, 100%. No, dude, if that's the case, then great. You've just given me more fodder for the Glyph machine.
Like Jeff,
Eurobeat,
Eurobeat's
Eurobeat
sick.
metal all the way.
Jeff, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
And what like I feel like this song is just, it has all the ingredients for the full Eurobeat treatment.
Hell yeah. We can make that happen. We got some moves planned. Let me tell you.
Ooh.
Gonna blow your
yeah.
socks off.
I forgot about that. Yeah, I'm excited
we got
for
some
that.
stuff in the chamber that's gonna make your toes curl.
Ooh. Now I'm
This is
excited.
tantalizing.
And it loosely relates to Eurobeat based on your description, so I'm very excited for that.
We could just be totally gaslighting Rav about what Eurobeat is right now.
I'm like, is it Vitas? Is Vitas Eurobeat? Because if it is, then we're announcing we're going to do a collab with Vitas then.
No,
Remind me what
it's not
Vitas is.
Vitas. It's not that.
Vitas is the fucking...
Yeah, no. It's not that alien sounding.
Well,
There's a
never
user
mind.
named Vikas who does do Eurobeat. Right?
Yeah, but
So I'm getting so confused.
no, it's not that. It's not that.
Okay.
But it's like,
this
you
is
know,
why the podcasts are 3 hours.
do you know the song? Like, do you remember the Glory Hammer song "Universe on Fire"? I wanna set the universe on fire. That's Eurobeat. That's a Eurobeat song. That's
More or less.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
It's a deja vu means like deja vu. I have been on this place before. Na 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 na. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, you really have to look into this.
This is a whole segment of
Apparently.
memes that you're being exposed to
This,
now.
I don't want to go on a tangent about Eurobeat, but we could talk about it for like 2 hours. But the short of it is,
You know-
it's a style of music that was made in Italy at the same time as power metal in Italy was being a thing, and the same people worked in both. Just that Eurobeat was dance music that was marketed to Japan. So you have Fabio and the Labyrinth guy, and a bunch of other vocalists doing both things. So there's electronic music with Fabio vocals that you probably have never heard.
No fucking way.
J-Storm.
Yeah. He went by the name
Okay.
J-Storm.
Yeah. Let's make this a separate podcast because
Yeah.
I need to hear all of this.
So,
Do a
so
listening party.
album 2 of Glyph will be all Eurobeat, and you can thank us right now for that.
And take us straight to
Eurobeat.
the top.
Eurobeat narration ballads. Let's go.
Those are
Jesus.
3 different things.
Yeah. So anyways, let's go back to your
damn.
actual song.
Anyway,
Yeah,
as for the actual
sorry.
fucking song. So Defy the Night, I think might be the first song a lot of people heard from Glyph because it was part of the Mad with Power announcement video, and it was the first thing that I heard. I'm just like, oh damn, this is cool. Let's keep doing this.
Yeah, I believe it was the first one that we also really, aside from like the CDs that we handed out, it was the first song that we released like publicly, like online on YouTube and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And funny enough, like I made all that 8-bit art and it was a huge pain in the ass. That's why we hired an artist the next time we did it. Cause I was like, fuck this. This takes way too much time.
You were miserable.
Yeah. It's funny with Defy the Night. Cause Jeff, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like that's one of the first ones that you and I wrote together.
Yeah. I think that was that was one of the first ones where we sat down and like penned the lyrics together. I think we were like getting our songs our song ideas together, and we're like, I remember thinking to myself like, fuck, there isn't like a barn burner on here. Like there isn't like a really fast where like the double kick's like the whole time through. I'm like, okay, we just need like a song like that. And I put that together, and Rob Steinway, our guitar player, he really like punched it up with some cool riffs. Oh, by the way, I don't know if I don't think we mentioned this already, but I write all the songs on piano, like the chord progressions and like the melodies and the top lines. And then once Rav determines like the best key for his voice, then we get Darren and Rob to like write their guitar and bass parts over top of those piano tracks. So we have like what we start with sounds like an 8-bit video game song, and then it becomes a metal song once they've started crafting riffs to go over top.
It's actually a fucking amazing writing process because you know exactly what the song is supposed to be before it even like a real instrument really hits it, and it's really nice.
I do like the mixture of like riffiness plus bits of like piano on this one. It's a cool combination.
I was imagining like Final Fantasy boss music when I first heard this.
Hell yeah, that rules. Yeah, basically that one started very much with like the synth lead. I came up with that first, and I was like, okay, that sounds pretty cool. Like that sounds like video game, anime kind of shit. And then Rob Steinway came up with like the pre-chorus riff, like the Halloween sounding one, and from there it just kind of lit up.
Yeah, and for me, like fast equals good. So
that's true. He's not wrong, folks.
He's not wrong.
Yeah. Fast equals good, which is funny because all the ones that you named, like even when they feel slower, are still like 200 BPM plus. Like Storm and Crimson Fire is super fast. Eldenfire is super fast.
Yeah, but it's the feel with the subdivisions and what you're actually hitting.
We are also power metal people, so our standard of fast is probably a lot more up the scale than average music people.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but no, it's just like, it's a great song. And, it's the same kind of thing where you try to establish what does Defy the Night mean, because in the end, it was just something cool that Jeff came up with that was like, it sounds really fucking awesome, but how do we put some definition behind it? So again, him and I sitting and writing the lyrics, this is kind of at the point where like the Valerians, they got Eldenfire, their planet's all fucked up. They, find a way to make it off the planet. And basically, like, we just run away because, the scariness of the unknown of space is like, well, it's better than this. And it's the same thing you hear. It's like, is familiar hell better than unknown heaven or any shit like that? The devil, is it better to stay where you are because it's familiar, but you're miserable? Or is it better to just go out into the unknown and see what could be out there? Which, again, is also worth nothing because in the next song, we just come back to fight the dragons. So, because then the moral becomes running away is not the solution. But again, just as a standalone song, I fucking love it. And that to me is like the iconic Glyph sound where the sword and planet kind of meet. And that's where we're getting sci-fi and fantasy and everything all together. To me, it's like the defining opus. That's actually why we picked it as the first song, because we were just like, this, if anything is going to be like the 30-second snippet that helps people understand what we're all about, it's this song, because this song has like everything that we're all about.
Good choice.
That's awesome.
It really does. I think it does. It's a great presentation card, actually. It's for the whole sound of the album.
Nice.
And then,
I just like the catchy. It's those little catchy things that get you.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Jeff's a master of like the little things, by the way. You have no idea how many layers of that shit is in there. And he's just like the soundscape master. Yeah.
Thanks, man. I got lots of little things.
Nice. And then you mentioned this is like trying to go into the unknown or whatever, but then you had to go back and fight the Dragonlord. So this is Sign of the Dragonlord. And so I guess the story took a turn here.
Yeah, I mean, think about any classic movie you watch. There's a lot of options that your protagonists are given to like cut tail and run. And some of them do. You know, there isn't someone holding their hand to be like, no, you need to make the right choice. They're like, fuck that, I'm getting the fuck out of here. And then kind of down the line as they're floating through space, they're like, I feel like an asshole. Like, we need to go back. Like, we just got this crazy technology, this awesome power. We need to go back. We need to fight. We need to define ourselves. And this is sort of where the Glyph crew like kind of has their rallying anthem. And it's not the battle. It's like the pre-battle hype song.
It sounds like you're marching to the battle, basically.
Yeah, basically.
Space marching, whatever that is.
And I think Jeff had established that in like, again, when sending out this demo, it's like, this is what I'm thinking for this song. Like, what do you guys think? And most of the songs, like their demo format, just Jeff playing piano with drums in the background, have not strayed very far from like what the defining concept was behind the song. Like, this is what I was feeling when I was writing this, is kind of what the song's turned into each time.
Cool.
Yeah, they almost like start as like little vignettes in a way where it's like, you know, like maybe there's like a storyline behind this. Like, this is about like, actually like the thought that I had for this song was, this is about a mercenary ship with a crew, but it's like it's an airship as opposed to like a ship on the seas, and they get into all kinds of wild mischief. And then from there it sort of evolved into the more focused viewpoint that Rav put together.
And this is where we also have stuff like, you know, the branding things, because I can't be in a band and not start doing branding. But then that's where we come up with like the dragon skull and the sword through it and everything. I'm like, this is like the ship's sigil. You know, this is what's spray painted on the side of the ship. And, you know, all this kind of stuff. Like, it's fun that we can take things that are already established and just expand on them, whether it's in the world or the lore or however. It's just kind of cool that we started seeing more trinkets of this where there's interconnected dots rather than like, you just have, you know, different songs that have nothing to do with each other. Like, I don't know, The Sentinel and then Hot Rockin'.
Yeah, I like it when the iconography of a band like makes sense. It's to some level.
Right?
I gotta be real, the Sentinel and Hot Rockin' are two of my like favorite songs of all time.
They're like pretty amazing fucking songs.
Yeah.
We need to do at least one music video in a sauna.
Yeah, dude. Maybe it'll be Yari's sauna.
Hell yeah.
Has anyone ever done that, like further like melodic death metal video, been in a sauna and then like trying to write a song, just fully lean into the bit? Because that would be hilarious.
We gotta find a sauna first, and then we'll be able to.
Man,
these are great ideas here, guys.
I feel like that has to have been done by like some band over in like Turku or something, or some bullshit place.
Jesus, Jeff.
What do you want from me?
Apparently, we're
also in the business. Yeah, we're apparently in the business of trying not to get canceled all the time.
Man. Okay. It's
Finland's doing all right.
Let's compose ourselves. I actually got derailed right now.
Sorry.
What are we talking about? Saunas are fun.
We're talking about Dragonlord and
Sign of the Dragonlord. Yeah.
Yeah. Sign of the Dragonlord. Cool song. God, I gotta make fun of Winter Sun. How do I stop it?
It's too tempting.
He literally had a brain block. He could not move on to the next topic without getting this out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, hope this.
Right. We are smarter and cleverer than that to rely on those for our jokes, right?
Yeah, I hope that this podcast episode has come out before time too.
Good time to mention our album is available for pre-order. And
yeah,
they're doing the pre-order next month. This is the hype month, as Yari said.
God,
I follow this because I think it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, so Glyph is a better pre-order than Winter Sun, so just
that's where we messed up. We didn't do a hype month. But we also messed up because then we actually gave our supporters the music.
No.
How dare you release
How
music?
dare you be good to your supporters and actually give them what they want? Man,
I know it's embarrassing.
That's not how you do business, apparently, right? Damn.
Not on this planet.
You and your cool shirt designs.
Let's move on. Let's move on to the next song.
We will move on to Glorious. It's glorious that we're moving on to this song, which, as far as I can tell, this is supposed to be like the big battle, and you somehow resisted any temptation to do a grand 10-minute epic for this.
Nah, dude.
I never want to do that again.
I'm over it, man. After playing in the band where it was almost like a contest to see how many 8-minute songs you could put on an album, I'm over it.
Yeah, dude, tight 4-minute bangers. Keep people wanting more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of people will be really pleasantly surprised about the amount of songs in this album and how long they are. Because we've heard a lot of complaints. We read a lot of complaints. Always, oh, this album is so long. This song is so long. This blah, 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 blah. And this is just tightly packed. Punches, punches, punches. And suddenly, whoa, what happened? It's over? Damn, I need to play it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the hope.
That's the
Plus, I
method
think-
too, man.
Especially for this one, like, if you sing this one live, I think the whole crowd will just want to shout glorious a whole bunch because it's a power metal crowd and they're a bunch of nerds like that.
Well, you
Yes,
can't have a
so-
power metal album that doesn't rhyme glorious with victorious, right?
Right.
I was gonna say that's probably the largest sin we've committed in this whole shebang.
Yeah, it's the battle album. It's your battle album. It's the battle song, and this is kind of it. Like, fine, we're not sitting there being like, we have to do a power ballad, but like, of course, we're gonna do a fucking song about battle, and whether
Obviously.
these are actual battles that some of our bandmates have actually been in, or other things like battles that you face. In the end, it's the whole idea that like you're not alone, man. None of you out there are alone. You have somebody with you, and there's typically going to be a group you can find. Usually in r/power metal, you can find a group of other like-minded individuals. Like, you are not alone, and you will, end up rising up and being glorious and victorious and all that kind of stuff. So it's nothing too deeply heartfelt, but it is, to me, the most beautiful song on the album because it just genuinely leaves me feeling good. And my hope is to be in an arena where we finish playing the song and the crowd just continues singing the chorus, because that chorus to me is just like, that's probably the one thing that'll actually make me cry on stage.
This song has the big whoa whoa at the end, which is sort of like the cheap shot for me when it comes to power metal, because I love a good whoa in a song.
Yeah, dude. It's kind of mandatory.
Yeah,
For sure.
yeah. And,
That was a Rav edition actually. Rav came up with that.
Yeah, man, I ain't going to be on an album without woes. You kidding?
Yeah.
Put that in my contract.
Basically.
Minimum number of woes.
When you think about the way that we're writing these songs and putting things together, like even Jeff mentioned, you're keeping the video in mind. You're keeping the live performance in mind. You're keeping a lot of things in mind. I keep things in mind like, how is this going to translate to the live performance with, if we do end up playing in a fucking arena, God forbid there's a fucking power metal band that plays an arena show outside of, Sweden or something. But if that ends up happening, what would be something that would translate well to this crowd? And whether we're going to end up in a tiny bar with 10 people or like on this tour, a couple thousand people every night, we want these songs to translate well, where no matter where you are in the crowd, like I can point out to you and I'm singing along with you.
I love that.
yeah, that is the best thing. This final song in the album, I gotta say, to me, it felt like a little bonus extra song.
It's a fun bonus. I really like the last song.
Yeah, of course.
That's one of my favorites.
But it has that, like,
Oh, weird.
the slight change of vibe. Where you guys was it always part of like this list of songs that you called all the songs? You'd say, okay, let's bring it down. Was this always like part of the album? Was it at any point was like a fun extra song?
This is like the dancing song.
I mean, it's
drinking
funny
song.
because I know exactly what you mean, and it's completely on purpose. Because Glorious is that big, heartfelt battle song, like slow-mo, people chopping dragon heads and whatever. And Volarad is literally just like in the middle of the battle, it just cuts to everybody sitting in a bar drinking.
Yeah.
And this is kind of what's going to be like that running theme. Like, no matter what, like in the end, all the hardship and all the serious messages and whatever, it's kind of like that. Don't forget, it all ends at the pub. Like all of us sitting around having a drink, enjoying ourselves, having a good time. It's like that reminder to be fun. We can break and make whatever tropes we want to fucking make. Like, this is our universe. This is our world. And in this story arc, mid battle, even just before the big boss battle, it'll just cut to the protagonist sitting and drinking and like laughing in a bar.
That's awesome.
This song has the words Nectar Celestial in it, which I don't think I've ever heard those two words together. That combination, which I think it really just kind of fits the silly but like grand vibe that this song, and then I guess Glyph as a whole, really has going for it.
When Jeff and I were writing this, I mean, because that was the whole idea. It started off like, so Jeff's demo was called Drinking Song. That's it. It was just called Drinking Song.
Makes sense.
And I'm trying to figure out lyrics, and I'm being a goofball, and I end up recording this, and I send it to the guys. I'm like, what do you guys think of these lyrics? It was drinking song, hit from a bong. We're Canadian, but not Rob. Drinking song, hit from a bong. We're Canadian, but not really. And like even Darren is sitting laughing his ass off. He's like, these are the lyrics now. Like, I don't care what version comes out on the album. This is the only real version to me.
That's the real version.
That's how a lot of us has had fun with it. We would just do like goofy fucking lyrics just to try to get a vibe for like, you know, syllables and pronunciation and how it's all going to turn out. But when Jeff and I sat together, I kind of pitched the idea to him. I'm like, what if we just made something up? Like, we haven't done that yet. We're singing about battle and defiance and glory. These things all exist in the world. What if there's something that does not exist anywhere else in the world but on this album? And that's we came up with Volarad. And I had to Google it to make sure it wasn't already a thing before I like stole someone's copyright.
Volarad with the little thing above the second A.
Yeah, because it's Volarad, not Volarad.
Volarad.
Yeah, and it's a drink. It's a space drink. It could be whatever. Some people have made the comparison to Pan-Galactic Gargle Blaster, and some people just say, you know, it's just LSD. Like whatever you want it to be.
What did you say?
Yeah.
What?
What did you say? Panga what?
Something Pan-Galactic Gargle Blaster. I've never watched Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy or read it. So.
Is that what that's from?
Yeah.
Damn.
That was a reference.
That was the reference, Jeff.
Damn, dude.
The reference
I
on
got
a
referenced. Wow.
Scorched.
Shit. I
References
thought I
are
was
out of
well
control,
read,
dude.
but no, it turns out I'm stupid.
And that's why we write such good music together. Huzzah!
There we go.
Yeah, man, that's gonna add to the party
it's
vibe.
To have the one named proper noun on your power metal album to just be a drink.
Yeah, space booze.
Yeah, I think it's very nice.
Yes, a completely made up drink.
Completely made up drink. Which, hey, if you guys get stupid money at some point, you can make your own official Volarad. Get yours here and at retailers near you.
Oh, see, you don't need stupid money to make that happen, it turns out.
Yeah.
You just need money and to be stupid.
Yeah, that's actually a great way to put it.
You actually just need to be stupid, at least on our parts. But, you know, the individual that's going to potentially end up helping us with this is very smart and very excited because, you know, we sent them a sample. We were like, hey, so you own a facility that makes beverages. How would you feel about this? And like without hesitation, he was like, yep, I'm on it. So
Nice.
So there's potential there.
We'll see. Oh, there's more than enough potential. We're more like arguing about flavors than anything right now.
Yeah, I was just thinking, like, so in your guys' mind, what does Volarad taste like? Is it like beer? Is it sweet? Is it hoppy? Is it bitter? Like, is it all of the above?
To me, I feel like it's a thing that starts one way and then becomes something else. Like maybe it starts sweet and then it goes sour. It has like more like it goes sour the further the longer you've been into it for. But it could also be a personal thing. It affects everyone a little bit differently.
Yeah, like based on your body chemistry, it tastes different to everybody. That's a good lore point. We should put that in there.
But it always takes you on a journey.
Yeah, to me, it like starts off tasting like a rocket pop, like a popsicle, and then it just tastes like LSD. That's what it tastes like to me.
Quick aside here. Should we talk about the video for this one?
Ooh.
There's gonna be a video.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, we haven't leaked that to you guys. Should we do like a live leak on the podcast and just set Jeff? Can we do that?
Yeah, hell yeah. Because if this is coming out around the time that our tour starts, the video should be out by then.
That's right.
Nice.
Jeff, would you be so kind as to put the link in this chat? We're doing a live leak on the podcast to you guys right now.
Oh shit! Yeah,
Media exclusive.
Oh.
And I think we wrapped this up in
Powerful
record
reaction.
time, under 2 hours.
Yeah, we'll finish up with our live leaking here.
Shit, I'm gonna watch it too. Might as well. I'm gonna get in on the fun.
Volarad final. It only has one final at the end. It's not like final. This one for sure. All right, let's
Keep it tight.
Put this. All right, I'm gonna start this up here.
Everyone count to 3.
Ooh. This is fancy.
Right?
This is more
I
than
love the mad
fancy.
scientist vibes of this.
I guess you can do like live commentary, but Jeff had actually set up all the logistics for this. And he did it through Rob Z, who is, I know him through producing Archspire's videos, like the two crazy ones that you guys had seen. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
he
so
did
we were trying to figure out how to make like a spaceport tavern. And he's like, no, we'll just use the back of a brewery.
Yeah. We had a couple of like Vancouver has a really badass like craft brew scene. So I said we have to be able to like contact one of these places, and I landed on Strange Fellows Brewing in East Vancouver. I did like a haunted brewery walkthrough with them on Halloween with some friends, and it was like such a big facility that they had, and they had it decked out with all kinds of wild decorations and stuff. And I'm like, this would be a great place to shoot a video, and we did. It was awesome.
And it was nice to be able to do that thing where it's just like, hey, everybody that we know in this city, we're shooting a video. Feel free to come out if you want to be in it. And a fuck ton of people showed up.
Nice.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Like that never happens.
Most of the people that you're seeing in this video are in like local bands in the Vancouver area. Like the people from Iron Kingdom are in here. Two of the guys from Spell are in here as well. Hyperia. Sam Landa from
Conquer Divide. I mean, Barbara's in it, so we got Empress in there.
Maya, one of the most high profile like gig promoters in town, is in it.
Yeah, he was a gem. He was a good sport. And the Gimp is like a longtime Ravenous fan. His name's Kyle Lonsdale. And he was just such a good sport. We were like, how would you feel about doing this in a Gimp mask? He's like, fuck yeah, let's do it.
See, I love the eclectic outfits in this. It kind of fits the whole like sci-fi, like backwater pub vibe, like a Star Wars or something type thing.
Yeah, like the thing that I really like about it is that like everything you see is real. Like there's no green screen. There was very little in the way of like effects. Everything, all the lighting is stuff that was actually set up. All the backdrops are real environments. You know, it's all real shit.
The humans are real too, and they were real fucking hammered.
Yeah.
You know, you
The
can't
brewery
have
was
your
pissed.
drinking song video without getting drunk shooting the video.
Yeah.
The brewery was
It's
actually
funny,
pissed.
he's so mad.
Yeah, he was pissed because we bought too much beer.
Wait, what?
Yeah, it's like, we're literally
Yeah.
just spending money in your business, dude. What the fuck? He's like, yeah, but you guys are like leaving cans everywhere. I'm like, it's a brewery. There is cans everywhere before we showed up.
Yeah, we cleaned the place up, we spent like thousands of dollars on alcohol just to keep these people like quenched. But I guess what he didn't tell me when we were setting this all up, he didn't tell me that their liquor license expired at 11 p.m. and we were shooting until like 2 or 3 in the morning.
Ooh.
And he just didn't tell us that. And so we were just buying drinks for everyone and just like buying cases of beer and like bringing them to the back area. And then as we were packing up, he like took me aside. He was like, hey, look, I didn't realize you guys were going to be doing all this. I was like, what did you what did you think was going to happen?
You didn't think like 40 metalheads inside a brewery weren't just going to slam a bunch of beer for a drunk party music video?
Yeah, he was like, I should have like found out more about the project. I was like, oh, come on, man. But it went fine, and it was great, and the
And
folks
we were like
I mean,
respectful.
yeah, and they were fine to us too. Like I didn't realize that there was a problem until like basically we were loaded up and ready to go. But up until that point, everyone was like super awesome, and they took
The
good
bar
care
staff
of us.
were
and-
stoked because like the place was empty other than us, so we were keeping all that because we were tipping them and stuff too. So they
Nice.
were happy as shit that just like 40 drunk metalheads were in there just partying their faces off all day.
But yeah, no, they took care of us, and it was a great environment. Like I'm glad, and they gave it to us at a very good rate, and yeah, I'm glad. It really went down without a hitch, honestly.
Dude, yeah, and Rob Z's team was fucking amazing. Everything down from the props to the costumes to like direction. It was a fucking great time, man. Like I'd go out there to shoot a music video in a heartbeat just for the fun of it.
Yeah, he's
I feel like I
a
don't usually
legend.
see music videos in like breweries. It's usually just like a warehouse or a green screen or a forest. Like those are your three choices. So a brewery party is a cool one.
Yeah, it's fun. And yeah, Rabsy's a legend. I really like that guy. We did 2 music videos with Gatekeeper for him and with him rather. And he always knocks it out of the park. He always has, you go to him with like kind of an outline, like with like with an idea of what you want and the vibe you're going for, and then he gives you like a full treatment. He comes back like a couple weeks later and he's got like scenes written. He's taken all of your ideas and punched them up to the maximum, and he's got a really great. I mean, like Vancouver's a great film city. Like it's like Hollywood North up here, so there's a lot of resources for. There's a lot of like gear rental companies, and there's a lot of prop shops, and there's a lot of post-production effects teams and things like that. So it's a great city to film in because it's pretty accessible as far as like the stuff that you need to make a good-looking product,
Well, good stuff. Thanks for sharing that with us.
Yeah, it's really, really a great video. I like not just the vibes, obviously, and everything, and having all the people there, but it actually looks fantastic. Like, this is
Thank you.
A really great job. Really great video.
Awesome. Nice. I'm glad you think so. I was super stoked on it.
Yeah, man, super pumped. Anything we could just be like maniacs on camera is kind of the best thing in the world.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. Like, there's not like a lot of actual playing in it. It was more about it's more about the story and more about the fun and like just kind of having a just making the scenes as energetic and as crazy as possible, and we don't have to like worry about the stress and like physical rigor of like miming a song 1,200 times.
And that's more the classic style of music videos, which I really miss in the general metal scene, or at least in the power metal scene that they tend to do videos. Like having just an idea, giving it to a director and telling him, hey, can you make a video to go with this music idea? And not having it be just, oh, we're live, we're just playing the song in weird places, but actually have another supplemental story, even if it's the same story sometimes, like here. I think it's a bit of most music videos were like this up to like 10 years ago. And I like that someone is doing it like this again, honestly.
I think the best music videos tell a story, even if it has nothing to do with the song.
Yeah, 100%.
Just the best music videos tell a story.
100%.
Because it gives you something to look at beyond just like being a thing that's like on MTV in the background so you can see the band members.
Yeah.
Which
funny enough, then the next morning we went and did exactly that. So like, well, we're all in town. We need to squeeze in another quick video. I guess we'll shoot Eldenfire and just make it a performance thing in a warehouse. And that's exactly what we did, because we got budget things to worry about, man. And at the time that this podcast comes out, we will not have released Eldenfire yet. That'll actually come out after the tour.
You hear it here first, people. I hope. Probably not.
Yes.
But
upcoming video.
I don't know. Who knows?
Reminds me of when I did a music video in high school. Like, we didn't have instruments to like film anything with. So we basically just filmed us doing stuff that we thought was fun or cool. And on top of a few clips of like a guy singing, it's like, boom, that's the music video.
Yeah, that
worked. I liked it.
It worked for Michael Jackson.
It did, yeah.
My favorite music videos were like Red Fang, where like it has nothing to do with the song. They're just running around chopping things with a fucking katana.
Yeah,
perfect.
I mean, some of the most famous music videos of all time are kind of like that. Like OK Go. I don't think they perform in like those videos where they're like doing the treadmill dances and stuff like that. I don't think they're actually performing in any of those videos. They're just doing like a cool visual thing.
They're just doing a cool thing for the video in all of them. That's like
or if you're going to do something where you are performing, then it's like something stupid like Electric Callboy, where you're like running on a treadmill while performing, or doing yoga while performing.
Yeah, it's cool to go that extra step. And when you can, like from someone that has done the YouTuber video of, each of us playing in front of the camera, because that's what we can do and the vibe that we have. When you can go that extra step and do something cool and add something else to it, a new twist, that's the best.
Mm-hmm. Like the video you just did were for the ones who defied Fernando, like just having the lightsabers makes that video so much more exciting beyond just like people playing instruments.
Yeah, because immediately all I thought was, where the fuck did everyone get a lightsaber? Like, you're all in different parts of the world and somehow you all have lightsabers easily accessible.
Most of us already had them. That's why we did the album.
Even worse. Nerds. Said from a fucking nerd.
So funny.
Oh man, this has been great. I can't believe we even got to see this cool video. This is awesome. Great album, guys. Really,
thank you.
I would love to see you guys live. Everyone that can catch one of these shows, you really should go look at the tour. We're going to link to it in the description or wherever. You can find it easily. Just Google Glyph Alestorm Tour 2024. Don't miss these guys, because just knowing from playing, you already all played with your previous bands. You guys know how to do it. It's easy to recommend this live show to everyone.
Hell yeah. Thank you, man.
I appreciate that. Yeah, that means a lot. I'm super happy and proud of the record. I'm actually beside myself about how happy I am with how it turned out. It normally doesn't turn out that well.
Yeah, I have a feeling like the people who show up just for like their meme ass like drinking Alestorm show are going to be like, whoa, what the fuck? This is actually sick. When you guys like go on as like this band that they haven't heard of, I think it'll be very exciting for everybody.
That's kind of the hope, man.
I hope so. I'm very interested to see how people react to it all.
And for what it's worth, I mean, this was exactly what was told to us, because I mean, in the end, Chris offered us the spot on this tour, and he was just like, yeah, I believe that this is going to be fucking amazing. So here you go. Here's 30,000 people to see you perform. You know, don't fuck it up. And so that's our only job here. That's our only job here, is to just go on stage and give the absolute best show we have ever fucking performed. And
I'll have to make sure I make it to one of these.
It'd be great to meet you.
And for those of you listening, if you cannot make it to a show, you could always catch some leaks on my Twitch page or on the Patreon, because the other Glyph members are in there, and we love leaking things to our Patreon supporters, because that's part of the reason we're able to do this at all.
Yeah, we're hanging out. We're having a blast over there.
Cracking memes, singing parody versions of Glyph songs already. When you wear a thong.
Oh man, yeah, everyone make it to the Twitch. We're going to link to it and all of the socials. Is there anything else, guys, that you want to see? I guess we had enough leaks for an episode. I'm not expecting more. But I don't know. I guess that's been that. Listen to the album. It's gonna come out soon from the time this episode comes out.
March 29th.
If you go and if you support the guys on Patreon, I guess you can still get it early. But if not, just please save it on Spotify. Get ready for when it drops on March 29, and enjoy, have fun, catch a live show. These guys are great. Thank you guys for being on the show. Thank you for being again here, Mr. Captain Voltaire.
Hell yeah.
Hope we have you again in the not so distant future. And you too, Jeff. I guess that's
Chief Engineer
Jeff Black, producer guy.
Thank you so much.
Looking forward to everything. Looking forward to seeing people's reactions to the album. And I guess I'm going to try to be more of a content person responsible. So I'm going to tell you, we also have a Patreon. So check it out. It helps keep the podcast going. And we always post it when we don't release an episode. But now we're going to try to release more episodes. And you can find us on Facebook, Instagram as Powerful Podcast, on Twitter as Powerful PM, Powerful Podcast on Patreon. And thanks, guys, for being here. Can you do the thing that we tell every guest to do at the end? Please tell our audience to stay powerful, just to send us off.
All right, Jeff, can you do the count-in?
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Stay powerful.
Stay powerful! Oh, wow. That was a very dramatic difference in energy.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Stay
Okay.
powerful.
Should we try that again?
You're the singer. You can be dramatic with it.
Yeah,
Jeff's a great
it's
singer.
fine.
Aw.
Let's do it. Let's do it again.
Okay.
I'll count you down. Let's do it
All right.
with power this time.
Power
3,
this time.
yes,
I
2,
stand back.
1.
Stay powerful!
Awesome. Thank
Awesome.
you.
You can align it in post.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
On my end, that was like synced up and it sounded really good.
Yeah, it sounded great.
Oh, hell yeah.
Stay powerful,
Sick.
everyone.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Stay powerful.